so many of you so early this morning. The brave few who braved the early morning rise. So this is the Q&A session with all of our guests, all contained in one place.
The early risers, I can tell. All the early risers.
So we'll be taking some questions. If you could just start with saying who you're addressing, and then nice, clear, loud voices. And we'll get started. So who's got a first question? Straight in.
What's your inspiration?
Yeah. Everything, isn't it? Everything's constantly inspiring me. I listen to lots and lots of golden age hip hop and weird novelty records from the past. There's a lot of very strange records out there that have been long forgotten that I find really weirdly inspiring. And there's a guy called Vivian Stanchel who was a huge influence on The Professor. He was an eccentric who led a group called the Bonzo Dog Doodah Band in the 60s. And if you look up things on YouTube, there's little documentaries about him and so on. He's very much like the forerunner to The Professor. He was doing the sort of things I did, but much better, much longer time ago. And beyond that, just constant comics. Whenever I've got a chance to look at anything that's not real life, it's some kind of comic book, and I think like cramming those into my eyes and mind all the time keep me fairly inspired.
Next question? Go for it, right down the end.
Okay, so this is to all of you. How many of you actually have hangovers tonight?
No, well, I don't drink anymore. I used to drink a lot when I was in high school, oddly enough. And then I had a wonderful voice teacher in college, Barbara Wallace. And I came into my voice lesson once, hungover. I mean, she was no fool. She knew exactly what I was doing. And in the sweetest way possible, she said, you know, Ellen, our voices are our lives, our business, our way to make money. And always our priority must be to take care of our voice. And that was it. Once Mrs. Wallace said that to me, that was it.
And what that means is now she's the best date in the world. You put like a third of a pina colada in her and she gets very silly.
And I had kind of, because I did the Sci-Fi Weekender on Friday nights, which was, I managed to cram in an entire night's worth of booze and entertainment into about 2 hours and then get driven back from Wales back to here. So yesterday was my hangover day, and that's why I was hiding in the secret identity. I was around all day, no one noticed, it was brilliant. Simon, while you're all feeling like shit, I'm feeling really fresh-faced and excitable all day today, so I'll be coming up and giving you all cuddles. And say, if you are hungover, have an afternoon sleep, because I want you fresh for this evening's entertainment as well. Please make sure you're ready for me.
How about you?
I seem to remember something about 5 a.m.
At least. First of all, I would like to thank, no, I'm not thanking you. I just want to congratulate with all of you for being here. You know why? Because even if the hall is not full, you are the strongest. You are the survivors here. So I just want to make an applause for you. Yeah, actually, it was such a hell of a combo yesterday because, you know, we have a different hour now. The party was epic. We kind of drink few, just a few, I think. I don't think I remember is nothing, actually. I mean, the only thing my phone is remembering is too many things, okay? So some memories I think should stay there forever, it's okay. Compromising stuff. No, we had so much fun because I'm usually a very responsible guy, even if I maybe don't look so much as. But the thing is that I'm always driving when I'm in my city, and I'm always, you know, the jerk that is always taking everybody to drink, and after I'm going back home to drive, so I'm the only one who's not drinking. So yesterday I said I don't have to drive, I don't have to do nothing, so let's go for the hangover. Tomorrow is another day, so it was 5 a.m. I think we had the hangover yesterday, and we went back very, very late. But life is short, so...
You need to drink your way through it today. It'll clear right up as soon as you have another drink.
Yeah, and definitely it's not over yet. Tonight we have to rock out everybody here. So...
During the opening ceremony, I said that I wanted to know if what the people were saying was true, that the British people were the best to make the parties, and I have to admit that yes, you are the best to make the parties.
Good stuff. Do you have another question? Go.
Question for Alan. How do you feel about being really this decade's most iconic villain, voice of?
Well, that's very kind of you to say.
It's either you or Loki, one or the other.
I am the most surprised person on the planet. Surprised, yes, I would say.
But see, I've been married to her for 28 years. I know how evil she is. So.
Does she use that voice on you at home as well if you've done wrong?
My erotic life is none of your business.
One more question?
Just before you do, because I'm a stranger to kind of the gaming world, can I hear your evil voice that you're so famous for? Because I'm sure they'd like to hear it too.
We're a lot alike, you and I. You tested me. I tested you. You killed me. Oh, wait a minute. I guess I haven't killed you yet. Well, food for thought.
Everybody can appreciate the little fanboy moment in the middle. Who's next? Fantastic. Go.
This is to everyone as not cosplayers. If you could cosplay anything from anywhere, what would you know? Limits, the imagination.
Queen Elizabeth I.
I would love to cosplay a much younger, healthier version of myself.
I think I've always had a soft spot for just really bad cosplay, so I'd choose a character you sort of couldn't, even if you did it well, you'd look awful. Probably Plastic Man or Ambush Bug, or somebody like that. So that really weird, lame superhero.
Actually, we are cosplayers and we are also cosplaying in this moment. So I think I should tell you my next project in cosplay, and it would be from Spartacus. I will be Gannicus next. I'm gonna do a project with Philip of Borderlands 2, Psycho Creek, and Kaiden, Axton, and we will do Kaiden and Shepard from Mass Effect 2. It's everything for the next Japan Expo, and it's gonna be epic. There's a lot of hard work to do, and I have only 2 months to finish, and exams and job and everything. So. Doesn't matter. Tomorrow's another day. Let's enjoy today. So.
It's fine. Cosplayers don't need sleep, so it's all good.
Yeah, but what is that about you people? The sleep doesn't really
We don't
happen.
need sleep, at least for the week before a convention. We don't sleep. It's fine.
And
What
at the
is
convention
sleep?
as well. No one
After last night, I don't even remember what sleep even is.
You lie down and hallucinate vividly.
I like you.
But I have to admit, today was the first time we woke up in time for the breakfast. We always arrived there 2 minutes after it was closed, everything, because in the weekend it was closed just at 10 it was closed, I don't remember, and we always wrong the timing. We never had breakfast these days, so today I finally have the breakfast of my life.
Any other questions? The back again?
Alan, what was it like being a potato?
Well, that was great, but it was interesting. It was an interesting acting challenge because I had done GLaDOS for so long. I was so set as GLaDOS. I was so set as being all-powerful, all-knowing, and Eric and Jay and Bill. At this point, Ellen, you have to be weakened, and that was. It was a harder acting challenge, but of course what I loved is that, if I got too excited as GLaDOS or Potatoes, as I like to call her, I'd short out. You know, and I'd pass out as the potato, and I loved that. I thought that was so funny. But it was sort of an acting challenge to be the weakened GLaDOS.
A question for John. How many hats do you have?
How many hats do I have? Actually, as the sniper, I don't have any hats, but as an old bald guy, I have like a whole bunch of hats. But no, I'm on Steam, and unfortunately, I chose the Steam name John Patrick Lowry. And so I can't play TF2 because if I ever play TF2, oh my God, John Patrick Lowry, let's get it. You know, so I just stay away. But people occasionally offer me hats, and I don't know how to even say yes. And people sometimes ask me for hats, and I don't know how to give them to them. So I know there's this kind of shadow economy. Steam has this hat-based economy, and I just know that, you know, like 3 years from now, there's going to be a hat collapse, and the Bank of Scotland is going to go under, and Iceland is going to go bankrupt, and you know we're all going to be back in 2008.
All those hats.
That's right. That's right.
Any other questions over anything at all?
I think you probably have answered this one before, but to all the panel, other than the obvious, what has been your greatest achievement?
Staying married for almost 28 years.
I don't know. I suppose the achievements that I'm most proud of are this Peaceful Art Orchestra that I wrote and the novel that I wrote. I'm not all that much into. I call myself a radical egalitarian, and so I think that, you know, we all each have a path, and we wake up in the morning and we breathe and we see the world, and eventually we die, and each path is unique and each path is valid, and I don't like ranking you know, myself above anyone else or achievements above any other achievements. I haven't ever built death camps and murdered millions of people. That has to be, you know, a positive. I've never, you know, started a bizarre restructuring of the farming practices of my country and thus starved to death 20 million people. So that has to be a plus. But I guess those are the two things that I'm most proudest of: not killing millions of Jews and not killing millions of farmers in the Soviet Union.
Is that for the future?
I'm sorry?
Is that for the future?
Yes.
For me, it is, I think doing Phineas and Ferb last year was quite a nice moment, just because I'm a real cartoon nerd, and just to know that in a tiny little corner of the animated universe, I've had my little moment being in a Disney cartoon, which was lovely. Beyond that, so it's kind of a toss-up really, either my children or my collection of Muppet figures. Because it's really good, you know, and their line is discontinued, so I've nearly got all of them, and the kids are pretty good as well, so.
My biggest achievement, I think, is something personal. Is something that I always find the way to be happy in everything I'm doing. And I always want my achievement to be you, the world. Just giving a smile to the world and giving and bringing happiness to people with my art, with my cosplay art. That's my biggest achievement after the studies and the job. So it's everything related to happiness and smile and positivity.
Mine is a bit different. In my life, I'm just trying to always realize my dreams, and one of them was a bit hard. I wanted to live in Japan and to work there, and I was even not speaking the language, and everybody was telling me that I would never succeed to do that. But I did it, and it was hard, but when you really want something and you focus on it, you can really do everything you want.
Fantastic. Right at the back, DJ Pony.
What got you into the music industry? Really made yourself right now?
Well, I think it was the fact that I could avoid the music industry entirely, that's enabled me to get a career doing this, really. I was teaching and just doing hip-hop on the side, and those couple of videos kind of got me a bit more known. And there's just that moment, I'm sure you two have had it as well, where my life was about to divulge. I was either going to start becoming a deputy head teacher or like a professor, being silly, being a funny hat, dancing around all the time, and had to make that quite scary choice. And it was totally worth it, so I just kind of, I just leapt basically for the professor, and amazingly it's blossomed into a delightful little career of silliness. So it's, yeah, a combination of like happy, being at the right place at the right time, and like unnerving commitment to a ridiculous idea. Taking that ridiculous idea as far as you possibly can, right until the wheels come off. I guess those two things. But without the collapse of the record industry and the rise of social media and YouTube and things like that, there's no way that I'd be sat here and would be able to forge a career out of it either. I'd still be performing strange little poetry gigs in pubs to 3 people. So I do think I'm kind of a product of the times as well. I got quite lucky doing weird things at a time where you can get weird things out to a lot of people.
Any other questions? Yes?
Is there anything you like your career that you really wanted to do but you got rejected for it?
Oh, we're actors. That happens about 95% of the time. So, yes.
Well, but, the professor and I were, talking about, I started out, after school, my focus was opera. And I have done a lot of opera. But, I've never sung at the Metropolitan Opera in New York, which to an American opera singer is the end-all, be-all. I've done a lot of things that I never predicted or dreamed that I would do. So ultimately, I'm not disappointed or dissatisfied with the way my career has gone, but it's not anything that I was really focused toward. So, if somebody wanted to hire me to do a walk-on part at the Met, I'd say yes, but none of us can predict what's going to happen in our lives, and I actually think that's a good thing. Things turn out for the best.
And I think particularly in the arts, you tend to do a lot of stuff and hope that just a few things have an impact. I have no idea how many auditions I've gone on or Ellen's have gone on, but we probably get about 5% of the auditions that we do. And so, that's why actors are always so bitter, because, it's like 95% of the time they just fail miserably.
I did some auditions last year for a couple of Disney things that I didn't get. There was a cartoon called Pen Zero coming out, and for a little while it looked like I was going to be the villain for like a new running Disney cartoon, and I lost out on that. Although I did find out that every single other person in the cast is like an A-list Hollywood superstar, so well, maybe I won't feel quite so bad. But other than that, similarly, really, you find your own little path in things, and the more time that goes on, the more I'm realising that kind of initial aims are like, maybe I'll be sort of mainstream famous now, and I'll get to do telly and do this and do that. I want to do those things less and less. Realise that they don't include a lot of fun in them, and you have less and less control over what you do. Whereas things like this are, they're kind of lifeblood. These are beautiful moments and like memories you get to take away. And why wouldn't you just want to do this sort of thing for as many weekends as possible? So this is a much better option.
So, as many of you already understood, I'm always taking positivity from every simple thing, especially from bad things, So I don't think being, as you said, rejected from an opportunity of work or job or something should be something negative. I think that if something's happened, it's happening for a reason. It's opening you other thousands and hundreds of possibilities, of different opportunities. And I really do believe in karma. And more than in karma, I believe that if we don't go for a way, there's other ways waiting for us, better ways, and we always have to take positivity from all of them. That's what I want to to believe in, and that's, I think, what makes us go forward always with a smile. So that's the most important thing.
As a cosplayer, the things that I'm refusing to do is most of the time the superhero outfits. I really don't think it looks just me, and I think I don't feel comfortable with that. That's all.
One more question? Orange t-shirt.
Okay. Follow up to a previous question. Who's doing Krieg, and can you do the voice in any language?
Okay. Try to guess who's doing Krieg.
By your reaction, I'm guessing you.
Okay. That was kind of predictable.
Bad luck.
Okay. Krieg's voice is going a lot near a Krogan's voice, you know? So, I'm gonna say that I'm gonna be Psycho Krieg in the next convention called Japan Expo.
Which voice of Krieg do you want to hear? The one in his head or the one he's speaking?
He got me. It's your turn now.
Oh, I'm not Krieg.
No, you have to answer.
I think it's okay.
Okay.
I studied just speaking regular. Krieg is a real character, so.
He's always drunk.
Gentleman on the front row.
This is to Ellen. When you came 2 years ago, I think you were asked what was your favourite anime, but I think you replied you didn't really see anything. Has anything changed in the last 2 years? Have you watched anything anime related and enjoyed it?
Well, I mean, I think about as close as we come are things like the Studio Ghibli stuff, which isn't really anime, I guess, but I mean, I love everything that comes out of that studio.
Well, what's the one that we own?
Howl's Moving Castle.
Yeah, Howl's Moving Castle. I love
it's
that.
a
And
great
then the
one.
recent one about the Japanese architect.
No, the Japanese aerospace engineer.
Oh, right.
That designed the Zero.
What was the name of that film? At least
was it
in
about the
the
wind?
States. It
But
was a beautiful movie.
I'm sorry?
Wind Rises.
Yes.
Right.
We saw that recently.
But there was a wonderful one about a year ago about the house on something hill. About these. I'm sorry?
Up on Poppy Hill.
Yes, up on Poppy Hill, right?
Yes.
Right. Just beautiful movies. And so I kind of, and Spirited Away is one of my favorite films of all time. But those are kind of Studio Ghibli, they're not really anime. Now I have watched on Netflix recently, what is it, Zombie High School or High School of the Dead? I'm sorry, High School of the Dead. Right.
And I fell asleep during it.
Right. And as I was watching that, it kept striking me again and again how important to this art form the movement of breasts. And what you see when you put the camera really low when a girl is wearing a short flared skirt. So those seem to be central to every plot in every episode, which certainly kept me watching. So.
And I fell asleep.
Right.
Have you watched the whole series?
I haven't watched the whole series, but I did watch quite a bit of it, and I think I will. Because, I mean, the thing to me about zombie stories is that you can play out the idea of, oh my gosh, my best friend has turned into a zombie, so now I have to kill him to be a friend to him. That kind of moral dilemma gets played out pretty quickly. And once you do that, all you're doing is, okay, these people are zombies, so we're being kind to them by killing them, and they're awful and scary, and we're running away from them. And
It's kind of limited.
yeah. I mean, I watched the first season of Walking Dead, and I thought, well, okay, this is all right. I mean, I can, the characters are nicely drawn and stuff like that. When I got to the second season, it was like, it just seemed like they were seeing if they could get a little bit gorier and a little bit, more disgusting, and I did, which is, nothing wrong with that. I just didn't see the actual plot point of the whole thing. So, but I think I will go back and finish High School of the Dead just to see what happens. But it seems to me that the whole zombie world and the vampire world and stuff, you know, the things that have come out recently are very much adolescent in their focus. They tend to focus on the moral dilemmas that adolescent human beings are facing. You know, how do you define loyalty? What is love? What is kindness? And I think for older people, we're looking at it and it all seems kind of cute to us. Because, oh, these young people are really working on this stuff and they're really confused about it. And I remember some time in the misty past, before there were steam engines, where I was, you know, worrying about that kind of stuff.
And now we're just mean.
That's right, that's right. But so it's but it's fascinating to me because I like to know what I like to know what young people are thinking about, because they think about very interesting things. And they think about things that I've thought about in a completely new way. And so it's always illuminating to see what the popular culture is coming up with now.
I think it's a bit tiresome. I don't want to know about what young people are thinking. I don't care about their thoughts. I've had thoughts. I want terrifying apocalyptics. I don't want vampires in love. That's what I'm really missing horror at the moment. I want the horror that really scares me. I don't want an exploration of their teenage relationships, what the heck's going on. Where is the good horror? I miss it. I mean, if anybody's got any recommendations, do let me know.
Marble Hornets.
Marble Hornets?
Marble Hornets.
Marble Hornets.
It's based on the Slender Man meme, which it's kind of like the 21st century boogeyman. But it's kind of got a nod Blair Witch Project feel to it.
Oh, is it a film?
It's a series of YouTube
It's a
videos.
YouTube series.
Ooh.
It's actually stunningly well done, considering how low budget it is. It's pretty impressively well
Oh,
done.
thank you. That's just what I was looking for. It's always worth bitching about something so someone can say, no, there is a good thing. It's this. Great, thank you.
Generation, you've got to go looking elsewhere for it.
Yeah, absolutely.
One more question? Go for it.
For everyone, has there ever been a moment in your career or in your life where you feel like you've made it, that you're being doing what you want to do and you're being appreciated for it?
Now.
Yeah, I think that, well, in the arts, you're always kind of going back and forth between, oh, I'm doing what I want to do and I'm getting, you know, a nice response, and the moment of, oh, I still need to pay next month's rent. How the heck am I going to do that? Ellen and I certainly have gotten to a place where, I mean, we've made it in the sense that we're not worried about next month's rent anymore, which is nice.
Because we saved money for years and years and years and years.
But a friend of mine once said, I didn't have a career, I had a collection of gigs. And I think that's how I feel about my careers. I've just gone from thing to thing to thing. Interacting with audiences is always very, very rewarding. I think that all of us would agree with that having that conversation with a room full of people where you feel that, you know, whatever it is that you're doing, whether I'm playing the guitar, improvising, acting, or even coming to fan cons, and talking to a room full of people, and they seem to understand what I'm saying, whether I'm speaking English or speaking music or whatever I'm speaking, is just a great moment. I mean, I compare it to having sex with someone, because, you know, there's this very intimate feedback, you know. But with this, there's very little chance of actually catching a disease. So it's
I feel a little bit dirty. For me, it's a Monday, for every Monday morning, there's a little kind of ritual when I get up. I go through exactly what I was doing at this time when I was teaching, and doing registration and kind of getting ready for a lesson. And then I make a cup of tea and I sit in the chair for a minute longer and ponder what it's like to not be at work. And it's a combination of that, and when you meet people and they say really nice things, the odd time that I've said, people get in touch and say, oh, I've had cancer and your Fighting Trousers song was my kind of anthem for kind of fighting back at it, or I got through a load of exams listening to your music, or whatever it might be, but those lovely occasions where someone's nice enough to sort of share that sort of thing with you, just mind-blowing. That is, for those little moments, and those moments at conventions where you meet somebody and you know that they've kind of really got the joke or whatever, they're beautiful moments. You wouldn't swap them for anything.
Talking about cosplay, my main reasons to be proud of. Actually, you have to know that in Italy there's a lot of competition in cosplay contests, you know, and every time is like going on the stage for the first time, you know. Nothing is predictable in cosplay contests, and there are hundreds and hundreds of participants, you know. And every time I'm winning a prize or something, I feel like that was my first prize, and I feel happy like a kid, you know. But that's for the cosplay contest, you know, for the competition. I'm very sportive and I'm an athlete, so I'm always accepting every prize, and I'm always accepting the best prize ever. I mean, not winning nothing, you know, because when you don't win nothing, you always learn something very important. And I'm always having fun, so okay. Secondly, it's, as Professor said, it's all of you meeting in convention, seeing you smiling, receiving all the compliments, because for me there's nothing more important than your support and than your happiness and smiles. But first of all, and it's the third reason I want to say I'm very proud of it, and I'm very happy to say it, is that lately my cosplay passion and art became also half a job, you know, for entertainment for kids, you know. We had Carnival Week it was 3 weeks ago in Rome, and when I saw all the kids smiling, seeing me, for example, in a cosplay, it's very special because they really think you are that character. I mean, when you're going to a convention, everybody's making you compliments because maybe you really look like that character. You really did a very good job, of good cosplay, but you know that it's not me. I mean, you know it's a cosplay. Kids doesn't know it. Kids think that you are that superhero. Kids think that you are the hero. Okay. So for me, seeing them smiling, running, and saying, "Oh, your eyes are really blue. Oh, where is your girlfriend? Oh, you're so cute." You know, that's really priceless. So for me, that's the main 3 reasons making me very happy of cosplay. And of course, all those 3 reasons contributed to me to be here, and that's my proud and my honor to be here, and I'm so happy, guys.
For me, I would say that as a cosplayer, I feel like I'm stealing the popularity of other characters, I mean of cartoons, because the funny part is that I just feel like I'm nobody. But in France, the cosplay I had with the most success was Tintin. When I started to do that, it was incredible. In Belgium and France, all the people, it was my first cosplay, so I was just someone normal, and I was wearing that just for fun. And the people were, I mean, kids and every age, they were so happy to see Tintin and to talk with him, the kids and everything. And yes, this kind of thing is just fantastic. I mean, as Leon say, it's making the people smile and thinking that you are the character. I think even old people, you make them become again kids. I mean, they want to believe that they have the character in front of them, and that's the beautiful thing.
To both the cosplayers, which has been your most favorite cosplays that you've ever dressed in?
So yes, for me it was definitely Tintin, because it's, I can tell you the last adventure I had in the last convention. I'm organizing a convention in France, and sometimes I'm forgetting that I'm doing cosplay, and one of the presentators of the show was Captain America, and he has a shield next to him, a huge one in metal, and actually a kid stole it, and we saw the shield running over the convention, and I just ran in the convention, asked the security to not let the shield go out, and finally I found the shield with the kid, so I took it back, and I went back in the middle of the show with the shield. And everybody said, "Oh look, it's Tintin, it saved again the world."
But that moment you are. It's no difference. It's exactly the thing.
You know, guys, I'm always saying that the first cosplay is maybe the most special one and the one you will never forget, you know, because somehow and in some way or another you will always remember, and you will always be linked by heart if you do it of, you know, a cosplay that you really love, you know. My first cosplay was Tidus. So Tidus for me is it's a character that I always feel linked to a lot. So that's why I chose him. I did him after 1 year and a half after I've been improving my skills, because the first Tidus was okay, but from my point of view, the second one was just another story. Listen to my story. And yes, so from that point of view, if I have to talk about hard cosplay, is Tidus. And just after, a step after, there's Caius Ballad from Final Fantasy XIII too. Because from my point of view, as a pro gamer and as a video gamer and as a Jig addicted and all those things, I really think that Caius Ballad, from my point of view, is one of the best villains ever created in the video games history. Especially because he doesn't have that good protagonist to fight against. And I think that he just been put in the wrong Final Fantasy. But that's making more contrast, and that's making him be... Oh, there's a lightning over there, sorry, I didn't want to say that. No, I'm just kidding. So yes, that's hard cosplay.
You should say you're a professional gamer. What game professional are you?
Actually, it's a common point between me and Philip, my best friend. We used to call each other pro gamers because we don't leave a game until we have the platinum of that. And I would like to do a special mention to Demon Souls, Dark Souls 2, and I think you should, after platinum those games, you can even put them in the curriculum as passion trophy, you know, because if you survive to those games without breaking half of your place, I think that's a good point for your future job. So yes, we are collecting trophies on PSN. We are PSN members, and I kind of have statistics. I was 48 in Italy, around, of trophies, of course. But for me, the most important thing and the best platinums are the one I'm sharing with him, because we always have to pay together, you know, especially for Dark Souls, where...
Ask his reports.
Oh, he's so... Okay, so we are speaking on Skype every day, because as you know, I'm from Rome, he's from Paris, and we are best friends. So we kind of speak every day on Skype, and when we speak, I think he saw flying more joystick in my room than a golf camp, you know, club, so... Yeah, a lot of joysticks flying. And that was very shocking when I have I was having the habit for the PS2 joysticks, you know, and they have the cable. So I was having the habit to throw them and to keep the cable. But when I had the PS3, that was a problem. So I just can tell you that to the second day of life of my PS3, I had to bring it back to the guarantee, you know, because the joystick was broken. I didn't took the cable and it flew away from the window. It was such an epic experience. So yeah, we are pro gamers because we really love the games, and even because after platinum taking the platinum, we like to bring in live characters with cosplay. So that's the main link.
More questions? Yes.
This is to everyone. Are you going to any more conventions in the UK?
Are you doing any more conventions in the UK?
I'm doing Bristol Comic Con, I think is the next UK one I'm doing. And other than that, no, there's a couple in the States. But no, things might still come out of the woodwork, you never quite know. But British conventions, just a real pleasure. There's just so much less hassle than the American ones, it's just easier. So hopefully there'll be some more. There's a lot of ones I haven't found out about yet and haven't tried yet.
Where are you going from the States?
I'm going to San Diego in a couple of weeks. Something called Gaslight. They're all called Gaslight, Steam Con, Steamship Con, Gas, something or other. It's delightful.
Yeah. We don't have any more in the UK.
Unless someone invites us.
Yeah. Right. We're doing a lot in the States coming up this year, but no more in the UK. Yeah, we're hoping that Philippe is going to invite us to Paris, and that Leon is going to invite us to Rome. But you know, they're so cool, and we're probably just the dorky.
And that Professor Elemental is going to invite us to Bristol.
Yeah, definitely. It's not my concert. You're welcome. You go there, and I'll go to Paris.
I'm asking them to practice their French. We want them to come.
Well, and we would love a chance to practice our French.
Yeah, definitely.
Je parle un peu français.
And she speaks also very good Italian. That's impressive.
Un poco. Parlo un poco italiano solamente. Parlo italiano.
Molto bene.
Okay, we're doing for time. I think we've got time for one more question. Who's got a good question? Lady at the back.
This is for the cosplayers. Are you going to Japan next time?
I'm managing some event there, and yes, so every years we are there. I'm inviting him to come, and actually I'm trying to bring as much as British friends cosplayer there to have more fun, even Italian cosplayer.
He's always doing everything to make cosplay worldwide, you know. That's also the main reason of the project he's working to called Pixidals, you know. The Pixidals is an online community taking cosplayers from all the countries and making them stay all together in a place called Pixidals, this community I'm talking about. So something I really appreciate of him is that he always thought that there are no differences between us. As I said, always, we have the same color of blood and we are all the same, you know? And we are all linked by this passion and art called cosplay, you know? And yeah, definitely yes, I will be there and I'm proud and honored to be there, even especially because I will share that experience with him. And we will do 3 cosplays together, and in a few days we're gonna have also a group, so that's gonna be very good. I can't say I can't wait because I want to enjoy today and after I will think to Japan Expo, you know, but it's gonna be exciting.
Are you planning to come?
I am going for me and Jane. I think we're going for 4 days. I don't know if you can hold me.
Sorry, I didn't hear that good.
I said we're probably going to go for 4 days before we go for the whole thing.
Okay, so you will be there,
I
right?
will definitely be there, yes.
You have to, definitely, you guys, you have to come to Japan Expo. It's, I think, one of the biggest events in Europe, and it's so big. It's more than 200,000 people coming there, and it's really amazing.
Okay, let's hear it for our guest.